Skips it over to Gaffney. And the Wild have a big forecheck dialed in right now in the Topeka zone. Over to the near side. O'Leary coughs it up under pressure as he was dodging a hit that was coming his way. Chopped off the boards and high in the air. It's onto the stick of Parker Johnson. Near circle, a wrister. Stop made by Fink. And the rebound goes off his own man and in. O'Leary in the slot there for defensive support. Sees it goes off his midsection and runs into Fink, and the puck dribbles home. And the Wild are on the board first tonight. 6:27 the time of the goal. It's 1-0.
Yeah, Parker Johnson there just firing one on net. And we saw a couple weeks ago, we saw a shot go off Kyle Houston into Wild's goal. And O'Leary was just wrong place, wrong time. And it goes to the back of the net. And Wenatchee's up 1-0. They'll take one out wherever they can get it. And they got one early.
Deflection off of Andrew O'Leary and into the Topeka net. Off the face-off to Nichols' right. Just worked in back of the net to Schultz. On his forehand, he'll drag to the near side. Christie at the board, sets it back down for Schultz near corner. Back up the boards for Christie. Now to Schultz. Christie at the hash marks. Whips into the circle, drops it back to Ramsey at the point. Now over for a one-timer, and Christie scores. Center and gets ready to come across the middle of the stripe, which he does on his forehand down the slot, makes a dangle, and a poke check made by Nichols to keep it out. First man over the boards for head coach John Buchanan is Jared Tafoya, Highland Ranch, Colorado native, and a dynamite offensive player against Bryce Fink. Here he comes down the slot on his forehand, makes a dangle, and a poke check by Fink. So a mirror image of what we saw Robert Nichols do to Sean Gaffney at one end, happening to Tafoya, courtesy of Bryce Fink. Second man over the boards for Scott Langer's team is Jake Lyons, the Ellicott City, Maryland native. And he comes across the stripe, down the slot. Shot, stop made by Nichols. Second man over the boards for the Wenatchee Wild is Blake Robus. Niagara Falls, Ontario, his hometown. Lines up Fink. Here he comes. Fink out the challenge. Robus down the middle of the slot, makes a dangle, and a pad save made by Fink. So thus far, two pretty impressive pieces of net minding at each end of the ice. Brian Christie, the Westchester, Pennsylvania native, 2 goals in this series, the only ones for Topeka, trying to score against Nichols once again here in the shootout. Here he comes. On his forehand down the slot, he scores! Brian Christie's had a magic wand in this series, and he gets the first goal of the shootout by using it once again. Third man over the boards for John Buchanan appears to be Jacob Barber, trying to even the shootout. Jacob from Darton Prairie, Missouri, roaring in with speed on Fink. Forehand, slices it wide. And Fink is perfect in the shootout so far. And Topeka can really crank up the heat now and force the Wild to score twice more. Kyle Sharkey, the Moore, Oklahoma native, comes across the line and down the slot. Forehand, stop made by Nichols. And out now for the fourth man over the boards for Wenatchee. You've got Trace Redmond, the Dallas, Texas native, cross the line towards Fink, down the slot. Shot, he scores! Easy peasy for Trace Redmond. And that one just seemed to float in over Bryce Fink. And we're even up at 1 in the shootout. Fifth man over for Scott Langer's team is Anders Schultz, the Hvidovre, Denmark native. Comes in far side on Nichols. Down to the far circle. He scores!
No good.
No, they say it stayed out. That never went in the net. It rounded the far post and out. Now they're going to have a discussion about it. It's either in or it's out.
I don't really see how
they're saying it's out.
Yeah, there's no discussion.
I mean, there shouldn't be a discussion here. The head referee standing right there.
He's right there. Right?
It's either in or it's out. We can't continue to have this. They say it's a goal. I mean, how does that happen? It's either in or it's out. The head referee has to be the guy that makes the call on that. It's ridiculous.
So they're saying the guy who was standing... I don't get that.
Max McHugh has to tie the shootout or Topeka wins this game in a shootout tonight. McHugh will go Edgewood, Washington against Gig Harbor, Washington. Here comes Max. Down the slot. Loses control of the puck. Deeks. He scores! I thought he lost control of that for sure, Rich Haney, but he somehow was able to find the handle, and we'll go to extra rounds tonight, and the shootout tied at 2.
That seemed like it took about 5 minutes there.
It took an eternity. Jake Lines, Luke Veach, the Lewis Center, Ohio native for Topeka. In on the forehand, slides it wide. And now with a chance to win the shootout for the Wenatchee Wild, Mr. Chris Kerr from Penticton, British Columbia. Charging hard at Fink, near circle, to the backhand. He sends it wide. And we'll go to a 7th round. And Topeka will start the 7th round with Dan Duppel from Collegeville, Pennsylvania. Gets the trail of smoke behind him, goes down the slot, forehand, stop made by Nichols as he knocks it aside with a blocker. 7th shooter over the boards for John Buchanan's team is Mr. Ben Carey from Centennial, Colorado. Scored the game winner last night. Can he make it 2 in a row? Cross the line, Fink way out to challenge, forehand for Carey. He scores! Effort turned in by Bryce Fink. Thrust into the fold in emergency circumstances for the RoadRunners, but it is Ben Carey's night once again for the Wild. He was quiet this evening after tallying a natural hat trick last evening and scoring the game winner, but he waits until late to score the game-winning goal in round 7 of the shootout here at Town Toyota Center tonight to achieve a sweep for the Wild in this 2-game series over Topeka and win Wenatchee their 4th straight overall as well. 2-1 final in a shootout tonight.